Mon dak telepa ili buro douali. Yonwo ato ayanwo. Ato ayanwo. Ato ayanwo. We suru win kere pa ama. O yagi. Loko yari ama aba Dr. Douglas Fabeke ne aga yira telepa kiki bere totam no loki temo Abuja. Ebu Slow River South East Senatorial District. Ebu Labour Party.
Super FM.
Everyone needs a superhero.
You've heard about it. It's real.
It is.
It's
Super FM, Nigeria's #1 family, lifestyle, talk and urban radio station.
It's going. It's out of here.
I give my sports information. Sports.
The Patriots and the Giants.
You like football, right? High five, football fan.
I love baseball more than anything.
This is Sports on Super FM, Nigeria's #1 family, lifestyle talk, and urban radio station.
Hello, good morning. Welcome to this wonderful edition of Super Breakfast Sports with me, Mary J, on your #1 family lifestyle talk and urban radio, Super 93.3 FM Port Harcourt. Today is Wednesday, the 21st day of September 2022. Now, we're still in the middle of the international break, and of course, players have started turning up here and there for their international commitment with the various national teams. So we have a lot of time now before the action gets on the way as it concerns international football. We have a little bit of time to talk about what's been happening in club football, and there will be a big meeting where big decisions will be taken today in the Premier League. As Premier League clubs are said to have a meeting to decide on some reforms, or should I say adjustments, to the cup competitions, the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup. Well, the FA Cup, they're going to determine whether or not to, continue with replays in the third and the fourth rounds of the FA Cup. But the big question comes from the Carabao Cup. Well, bigger teams, the teams are the top six, those playing in the Champions League and the Europa League, I beg your pardon, are suggesting, or we've been told, they would suggest skipping the Carabao Cup. Not entirely, though. The main teams will skip the Carabao Cup while they feel they are under 21 sides to contest the Carabao Cup. That's what we're asking this morning. Should the bigger teams be allowed such luxury? Or, if they find it too bearing, should they be excluded altogether from the Carabao Cup tournament? We'll be speaking to Gogo Renemi very shortly to explain to us the details of these decisions and how it could affect the teams going forward. Meanwhile, you can get in touch with us by heading on to our Facebook, where we're live streaming right now at Super FMPH to drop your comments. You can also use the phone lines when we throw them open, and your text messages very well appreciated across our WhatsApp platform and also on our Super FM Global app. If you do not already have it, head on to your Play Store and search for Super FM Global. Without wasting any more time now, vamos. Once again, welcome to Super Breakfast Sports on this wonderful Wednesday morning here on Super 93.3 FM Port Harcourt. We kick off today's broadcast talking about some stories, local stories here in Nigeria, especially as it concerns football. The general manager of Rivers United Football Club, Chief Dr. Okekpaluku JP, has thanked the executive governor of Rivers State, Chief Barrister Nyeso Ezewonwike, CON GSSRS POS Africa, for his support and magnanimity towards the team. The experienced administrator, while applauding the team's effort in the preliminary round of the CAF Champions League, appreciated the governor for the approval and disbursement of funds for the trip, as well as the Commissioner for Sports, Barrister Christopher Green, for his tenacity in ensuring that the team succeeds. Speaking to the club's media, Dr. Okekpaluku said, and I quote, "I want to thank our amiable governor for his tremendous support for the team through the approval of and provision of the needed funds for the continental trip. In the same vein, special thanks go to the Sports Commissioner, Barrister Christopher Green, for his unrelenting effort and encouragement to get the players in the right frame of mind, without which not much could have been achieved, end of quote. Rivers United, of course, as you already remember, breezed past Watanga FC of Liberia 3-1 on aggregate to set up a clash against Wydad Casablanca of Morocco in the first round of the CAF Champions League. Now, also reacting to the club's chances of beating their Moroccan opponent in the next round, the general manager has assured qualification to the group stage of the CAF Champions League. Rivers United will host Wydad Casablanca in the first leg of the next round at the Adoke Amesia Maka Stadium on the 9th of October 2022 and will travel for the reverse fixture a week later in Casablanca, Morocco. Talking about the CAF Champions League and the CAF Confederations Cup, African football ruling body CAF has announced an increment in the cash prize monies for the winners of the CAF Champions League and the CAF Confederations Cup tournaments. The previous winners of the Champions League earned $12.5 million, while the winner of the Confederations Cup collected an approximate $6.4 million. According to an update from the CAF headquarters in Cairo, Egypt, the new winner of the Champions League will earn $17.6 million, while the winner of the Confederations Cup will get an increased $9.9 million. The two trophies are presently in Morocco after Wydad Casablanca won the Champions League and RSB Berkane emerged winners of the CAF Confederations Cup last season. 3 Nigerian clubs are still in contention to reach the group stages of the Continental Showpiece tournaments. Rivers United and Plateau United aim to reach the Champions League group stage, while Kwara United hope for the same in the CAF Confederations Cup. Talking about club football as it concerns Nigerian teams, Nigeria Professional Football League giants Enyimba Football Club of Aba have announced the addition of coach Olarewaju Yemi Daniel to its coaching crew. The Aba-based club on Tuesday announced this on their official website. Yema, as he is popularly known, joins Enyimba as an assistant coach, having previously worked at Magate FC, MFM FC, and most recently at Vandriza FC. In reaction, head coach Finidi George said he is excited to have Yema on board, highlighting his passion for coaching and positive mindset as some good qualities. Yema is regarded as one of the brightest coaches in Nigeria, famous for his profound knowledge of the game and excellent work ethic. He is currently an assistant coach with Nigeria's under-17 boys team, the Golden Eaglets. The Aba Elephants finished 7th last season in the league and will be looking at launching a title challenge when the new season kicks off. Now to some updates from inside the camp of the Super Eagles of Nigeria, who are currently in Algeria ahead of international friendly games. The trio of Ademola Lookman, Godwin Saviour, and Adebayo Adeleye are the latest players to arrive in the Super Eagles camp in Constantine ahead of international friendlies with Algeria. The arrival of the 3 players was confirmed via the Super Eagles official Twitter handle late last night. Following the latest arrivals, the number of players currently in camp ahead of the double-header friendlies has risen to 21. Meanwhile, only 3 players are still being expected to hit the Eagles camp. The players are Kelechi Iheanacho, Francis Uzoho, and Ebube Duru. Jose Peseiro's team had the first training in Constantine on Tuesday ahead of the friendlies with the Desert Foxes of Algeria. The Eagles will be looking for a first win against the Algerians since 2016. The North Africans have emerged victorious against Nigeria in the last 3 outings. Now, while he's been expected to hit the Super Eagles camp later today, Rivers United left-back Ebube Duru has expressed his delight after earning his first Nigeria senior national team call-up. Duru was included in the Super Eagles manager Jose Peseiro's squad as a late call-up for forthcoming international friendlies against Algeria, and Duru couldn't hide his excitement.
Thing of joy, playing with the main Super Eagles is a thing of joy. It's every desire of the MPFL player to play. It's not just in the home base, but to play in the main Super Eagles. So I'm very excited, and I'm so happy that I'm going to have the opportunity to play with the foreign-based player and to get to know most of them and interact with them. So this is a big morale booster for me, and I'm so excited.
Ebube Duru had previously featured for the Super Eagles B team, the Chan team, and has impressed while playing at left back for the Pride of Rivers, Rivers United. 3-time African champions Nigeria will trade tackles with 2019 AFCON Kings, first against an Algerian team comprising mostly of home-based talents on Friday, the 23rd of September, then against the senior Phoenix team on Tuesday, the 27th of September. Now Now to some stories from elsewhere around the world of sport before we head on for our big discussion this morning. World Athletics has ratified the women's world 100-meter hurdles record set by Oluwatobiloba Amusan at the 2022 World Championships. A statement by the International Athletic Governing Body on Tuesday further revealed that the record times of two other athletes, who are Mondo Duplantis and Sidney McLaughlin, have also been ratified. The athletes had set the records at the World Athletics Championship that took place in Oregon, the United States of America, in July. 25-year-old Toby Amusan took the world by storm when she ran a time of 12.12 seconds, shaving almost a tenth of a second off the previous world record held by America's Kendra Harrison in the semifinals of the World Championships in Oregon, USA, before going on to win gold in the final at the Hayward Field Stadium. Still around athletics, the World Anti-Doping Agency, WADA, as I've said, they are still monitoring testing operations in Russia ahead of the decision on whether to reinstate the country despite complications caused by the Ukraine war. This is according to WADA President Witold Banka. The existing 2-year ban from international sport imposed by WADA on Russia for widespread state-sponsored infringements of doping regulations expires at the end of the year. Some Russians have continued to compete internationally as neutral athletes, including at the last 2 Olympic Games, but the isolation of the country after the start of the war further complicated the process of ensuring doping compliance. Banka, who reiterated WADA's condemnation of the Russian invasion of Ukraine, which Moscow calls a special military operation, said the organization was still able to monitor the work of the Russian anti-doping agency, Rosada. Now, some big news from Formula One yesterday, as Formula One has revealed a record race calendar for the 2023 season, with the sport set to hold 24 races in a season for the very first time. Overhauling its largest ever calendar by 2 races, the schedule for next season includes the inaugural Las Vegas Grand Prix, which is on a Saturday night, and sees the return of the Chinese Grand Prix after a 3-year absence. The calendar was approved by the FIA and the World Motorsport Council, as revealed by F1's governing body on Tuesday. Qatar also returns after making its debut in 2021, while Monaco retains its place on the calendar in the middle of the first of 2 triple headers on the calendar after doubts about a contract. Making way for 2023 is the French Grand Prix, and the previously touted race in South Africa has not been included. The season will start on the 5th of March in Bahrain, where preseason testing is set to take place, and finish on the 26th of November in Abu Dhabi. Now in tennis, Roger Federer says his decision to retire came after he stopped believing he could continue playing because of injuries. The 20-time Grand Slam champion is retiring from the sport after this weekend's Laver Cup in London. The 41-year-old Swiss national has not played since Wimbledon 2021, after which he had a 3rd knee operation. Speaking on BBC Breakfast, he said, and I quote, "The last 3 years have been tough, to say the least. I knew I was on a very thin ice for the last year, ever since I played in Wimbledon. I tried to come back, but there was a limit to what I could do, and I stopped believing in it, to be honest." End of quote. Federer said he had a scan a few months again, and it was not what he was hoping for, adding very quickly that he realized that that was the end. The 8-time Wimbledon champion announced his retirement last Thursday in a statement via social media. Now, one more story before we connect with Gogoro Rename on the Break for Sports this morning. And this coming from football, as South Africa have now announced that they will bid to stage the 2027 FIFA Women's World Cup, hoping to bring the event to Africa for the very first time. In July, South Africa became African champions for the first time after beating host Morocco in the final of the Women's Africa Cup of Nations in Rabat. Almost 2 years ago, the Netherlands, Belgium and Germany launched a bid for the 2027 competition, and that will be among the South Africa's proposal's principal rivals. A joint Scandinavian bid has also been floated. Meanwhile, the United States has also indicated a desire to bid for either the 2027 or 2031 FIFA Women's World Cup. Next year's tournament in Australia and New Zealand will be the first finals with 32 teams, an increase of 8 teams from France 2019. It would also leave Africa and South America as the only populated continent never to have staged the Women's World Cup. The South Africa Football Association had been in the running for the 2023 World Cup, but pulled out, claiming it wanted to focus on developing the Women's National League. South Africa's women's side, Banyana Banyana, went out of the group stage on their first appearance at the World Cup in 2019. And of course, South Africa remained the only country on the African continent to host the Men's World Cup in 2010. Now, for our big discussion this morning, it centers around club football in the UK, especially in the Premier League. Premier League clubs are considering plans to scrap FA Cup replays and make radical changes to the Carabao Cup. And on that note, I'd like to welcome Gogo Rinemi on Super Breakfast Sports this morning. Good morning to you, Gogo. Welcome once again to the show.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Merritt, fans of the show. Good to be here. Let's go.
Now, as part of a new deal for football, Top Flight shareholders will meet today, Wednesday, to discuss changes to the calendar. Now, the Premier League wants to ease fixture congestion, of course. There's been a lot of complaints from managers and players on the number of fixtures they have to execute during the course of the season. Now, interestingly, replays in the third and the fourth rounds of the FA Cup could be scrapped after today's meeting. But what's most interesting is the fact that the bigger teams, those involved in European competitions, the Conference League, the Europa League, and the UEFA Champions League, could request for their under-21 sides to fill in for them in the in the Carabao Cup. Gogo, first of all, how important will the decision be in terms of congestion for the teams?
Yeah, I think it is going to take congestion to another level because when you look at it, some teams, even among the big teams, the so-called Big Six, Tottenham, Arsenal, they can look at winning the Carabao Cup as a step in the right direction. Yes, I know Arsenal, they've won the FA Cup under Mikel Arteta, but winning the Carabao Cup will be a step in the right direction because at least it's a trophy. That's one. Now, the second phase of importance is if they can come to an agreement of scrapping replays, it gets to a point where they will have to field in their under-21. Now, you can call it disrespecting the trophy, so they want to make it official. Now, this under-21, there's a UEFA Youth League for the under-19s. Now, this would be an opportunity for them to assess how good they are against other big sides. So it's a win-win for everybody, but it's a loss for the competition itself because you want the big names playing. And also, for instance, there's a team called Shrewsbury. 4 seasons ago, I think they played Liverpool at home. That fixture was the reason they were able to clear out the entire yearly budget without any struggle. Why? Because the big boys came into town and there was massive, it's for instance, you're doing an event around an area and the big dogs come in, like the big politicians. Teams in that area, they are going to bubble. It's the same thing for football. So when the big teams come in, they come in with their fans. They come in with, people that come to Brighton. So expediently, you're selling all your tickets. There will be no empty seats. People will be, and the prices will just go up because the big dogs are in town.
All right.
So this is how the small teams are going to lose out because the big dogs are no longer coming. And, it's going to create chaos. I think the best thing would have been to scrap the replays entirely and let them focus on the major competitions. But hey, if we do that, the Carabao Cup will keep losing value each and every season.
All right, so for the bigger clubs, now I think very importantly you mentioned that it would seem for me, to the smaller club, it would seem like a little bit of disrespect. Teams like the Leicester Cities, Aston Villa, they're not, they're not the biggest of clubs, but they're not really small either, and having to play against an under-21 Arsenal team in the Carabao Cup, I think that should send feelings of disrespect to the other side of the divide. And then also for the big teams, you cannot eat your cake and have it. If you think that your fixture list is very congested, why not opt out of the Carabao Cup entirely?
Now they are in it based on their positions in coming into this season. So I'm not sure it is entirely in their hands to say we don't want to partake in this competition. because deep down, everyone will say we want to win it. So if we come and write a note, it will be as if we were giving excuse. I remember Liverpool were to play a game in the World Club Cup, and I think 2 days later, 2 days before, played in the Carabao Cup, Aston Villa.
Yeah.
Then 2 days later, play in the World Club Cup, and it was not possible. They tried to bargain with them to shift the game, they refused. And what did club do? He set out the under-21s, and they were pummeled 5-0. And then they went on to win the World Club Championship. Now, I think they need to come to a compromise where everybody wins. If they don't do that, the big boys will keep disrespecting this competition. For instance, if the big boys, all they'll need to do now is get some of their fringe players, bring in the under-21, put them against whoever, and they just honor it. But deep down, the small teams are losing. So, for instance, the example you give about Leicester versus 21, I can tell you, we're fighting for the title this season. Our squad is not that large. This Carabao Cup is not the way forward for us. So we're going to field in our under-21 since we want to respect the competition without being too disrespectful. So I think we'll continue to see these things until the cup. It's either they raise the value of the Carabao Cup. If you win it, you get a slot in Europa, or increase the monetary value. If they don't do that, these competitions, especially the Carabao Cup, will continue to suffer.
All right. Thank you so much, Ugo, for joining us on the program this morning.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Well, I don't know what you make of it, but there would be key decisions taken later today. It might, suffice that the big teams, should I say, the top 6 in quote, or the top 7 these days. Top 6, because the 6th team gets to play in the 7th team plays in the Conference League. Yeah, so maybe Big 7 because they count that as a European competition as well. They might just, agree to field under 21 teams, and that would, of course, take the excitement out of the competition. Imagine, would you really want to watch a Brentford versus an Arsenal under 21, or a Liverpool under 21, or a Chelsea under 21, just because these teams still have to be represented in Carabao Cup? I mean, if it's too much for you, then maybe you just have to forfeit some of these tournaments. But let's get your thoughts now on these decisions to be taken later today. 0705 079 1021, 0811 743 1021, and on WhatsApp 0905 948 1021. Ahead of decisions today, should the bigger teams be allowed to field in under 21 in the Carabao Cup, or should they be excluded from the competition altogether? That's what we want to hear from you this morning. 0705 079 1021 and 0811 743 1021, 0905 948 1021. And interestingly, from some years back, the Carabao Cup used to be maybe not a very important trophy, but now it's been counted, as a major trophy. While we wait for your calls, just a little bit more information from the world of football, especially international football. Russia were conspicuously excluded from the qualifying draw for the 2024 European Championship, but the national team still banned from all competition until further notice following the country's invasion of Ukraine. However, Belarus, which has been a key staging area for the Russian invasion, were included in the draw, though UEFA said they cannot be placed in the same group as Ukraine. Football's governing body FIFA and European soccer's governing body UEFA decided in February that all Russian teams, whether national or club size, will be suspended from participating in FIFA and UEFA competitions after the invasion, which Moscow calls a special military operation. In July, the Court of Arbitration for Sports (CAS) dismissed appeals filed by Russian Soccer Federation and 4 Russian clubs against UEFA and UEFA's decision. UEFA confirmed Russia would not be involved in the event after its executive committee met in Var, Croatia, and approached the procedure for the qualifying draw, which will take place on the 9th of October in Frankfurt, Germany. Germany will host the Euro 2024. Now, time for us to attend to your thoughts on the matter we're discussing this morning. Good morning to you. Welcome to Super Breakfast Sports.
Hello, good morning, man.
Good morning to you.
My name is Precious from Ililiwan.
Precious from Ililiwan, go ahead.
Yes, as for me, for this division, as for me, my own opinion, I will suggest if once you qualify for any intercontinental football, you automatically be removed from the Carabao Cup.
Instead of fielding your under 21 team.
Yes, instead of fielding the team under 21, once you qualify for any of these Champions League, Europa League, automatically they remove you. As for me, that one will be better. Then leave other teams to play. Because that one is also adding more glamour for the game too. So I will suggest like that. That's my own opinion.
All right. Thank you so much, Precious, for your thoughts. But then again, does the Carabao Cup in England necessarily need to be played? I mean, yeah, I understand. It's the League Cup. It's a traditional League Cup, not even the FA Cup. But 4 trophies, at least the league, and then 2 cup trophies in England. It's a little bit much. In Germany, there's just the 1 cup trophy. I think same in Spain and in Italy. I think it's just France who also has 2 cup trophies. So if you're complaining about congestion, then I think these key decisions have to be made. Thank you so much for that one, Precious. Skillful Peru on our Facebook says, I think it will go a long way to help the teams who are involved in European competition. English FA should allow them use their under 21 players to play Carabao Cup. For me, it's a welcome call. Skillful Peru from HA. Thank you so much for that one. Good morning to you. Welcome to Super Breakfast Sports.
Hello.
Good morning to you.
Good morning, my brother.
Good morning. Welcome.
Thank you. Chelsea Foster Musico calling from Starkwood.
Go ahead, Musico.
To show you have respect for the tournament, you still need to feed in a player. 3 or 4. You can make 7 changes. Your B squad and still give that sense of competition. Even in 3 or 4 players. 2 is return leg. We are playing close one pictures. Return leg, yeah, it's good to scrap it.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Musico. Musico thinks that you can still field in maybe a couple of players from your first team, blend them with your under 21 team, and then everybody carries on with a good game of football. Well, we'll see how it works out later tonight. That decision will be made. And before we leave the studio this morning, Chelsea have terminated the contract of the commercial director, Damian Willoughby, with immediate effect after receiving evidence that he had sent inappropriate messages before being appointed by the Premier League side. And also for Chelsea, another blow for Chelsea is the fact that Christoph Freund has confirmed he will stay on as RB Leipzig as sporting director despite interest from Chelsea. Thank you so much, guys, for being a part of the show this morning. Thank you for your calls that came through and also your thoughts on our Facebook. We'll have a lot of time to talk about football stories, emerging football stories by 5 p.m. when we return for Sports Traffic. I will be here, Sky will be here, and of course, you know how it is, always exciting, always fun. In the meantime, there are many exciting programs coming your way here on Super 93.3 FM, Port Harcourt, so keep it locked. And do not forget, we're always open for business. You can pay us a visit at our commercial office at number 56 Agri Road by Sokoto Junction, or call any of our marketing line. Enjoy the rest of the broadcast here on Super 93.3 FM, Port Harcourt.
Music for the whole family. Talk for the whole family. Entertainment for the whole family.
I don't know. This place is crack-a-lackin'.
This is